In the room, cold as the tomb, ghosts whispered secrets of doom. Eyes wide open, felt the gloom. In that house, shadows consume.
Hello out there, ladies and gentlemen. This is your humble ghost host with the most, Mr. Dennis Curl, and this is another edition coming straight at you of Hunting the Shadows. Yes, I am Dennis Curl. I'm a recovering werewolf. Okay, definitely. How you doing all tonight? Hope you're doing fantastic. We're in the middle of the week here. We're on the hump going down on the other side. Absolutely. Yes, I've got my ears on tonight. I'll be listening to what you're saying, definitely, okay? Without a doubt. No, I am not a raccoon man, thank you. Make that a wolf, okay? All right. Raccoons, I've had some problem with raccoons over the years. They have no respect at all. Absolutely not. Want to welcome everybody in tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much, definitely. And we're slowly starting to gather here in the grotto. Yeah, I thought I'd wear my wolf hat tonight. It's a little bit warm, though. Woo. You should only wear these in Arctic weather. You know, that's why the Arctic timber wolves do so well. They're warm with the natural stuff there. Want to welcome you all aboard tonight. Tonight's subject is, are you ready? Monsters in the city. That's right, monsters in the city. You don't just find cryptids in just the woods and the desolate places. No, sir, no, ma'am. They can be also in the city. I'm getting a lot of reports on that. And that's what we're going to be talking tonight. They may even be next door in your neighborhood. What do you think about that? Mm-hmm. You never know. And I'm not just talking about those little monsters that live next door either. The little types. I'm talking about the real thing here, folks. Absolutely. Want to welcome you all here tonight. Thank you so much for being here, and appreciate it. It's been a long week. It definitely has. We're halfway through it, though. That's good. Want to welcome Ursula, and of course, the ever lovely Shiro is in the house, along with the girl and her gong. Welcome aboard, dear Blue Eyed Bandit, and I think Blazer is in here somewhere, yeah, and a little Kilroy, and let's see, Barry is here. Barry, I'm gonna have to call you the raccoon man, buddy. I want to see you wearing your coonskin hat one day, you know. Do a Davy Crockett on me, okay? Daniel Boone thing. A different chat once saw some wolf hawks in the woman's bathroom. Well, there you go. We're gonna be talking about that tonight. Absolutely. Nothing I werewolves don't wear glasses here, folks. It's kind of hard with all this fur on, right? Hello, Tiger Eye. Welcome aboard, Davy Crockett. Yep, I was born on his birthday, by the way, Barry. One of my favorite Davy Crockett sayings is, one of my favorite ones is, make sure first you're right, and go ahead. That's what Davy Crockett used to say about stuff like that. Oh, yes. Yeah, we had a fantastic, if you missed it this week, go back and check out the Cryptid Huntress show I did on Monday with her, and we had a fantastic show on that. I appeared on that show with her, and we talked about the bleemies. The bleemies. If you don't know what that is, you need to go check that show out. It was a great show, absolutely. And there's a link for it. Go check it out. And you'll be glad you did. I love the offbeat stuff, definitely. You know me, I'm always. Oh, yes, the dwarf's in the house. Hello, sir. Yep. Here we go. Yes, sir. But anyway, I hope you all have been doing good this week. And everything's been going good for you. And don't forget now, there is a rumor going around. I think it's more than a rumor. That if you hit the like button, it gives you good luck. So you might want to do that before the night's over, okay? You might want to hit that like button a few times just to be on the safe side. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, by the way, we got a girl on the gong, and the girl on her gong here, you know, she actually had a werewolf move in with her. It's living with her right now, her and Gus, actually. Come all the way from these parts. You need to give him a name, Maureen, you know, like maybe, you know, Doug or something like that. Doug the Wolf, whatever. That would be interesting. Monsters in the City. What are we talking about here? You know? Okay, well, we're all very well versed in the well-known cryptids like Dogman and Bigfoot and Chupacabra and some of these other ones. They get a lot of playtime, but some of these other things, they're not just found in the forest. Okay, I'm getting a lot of reports here lately, folks. These things being seen in the city, on city sidewalks and all that. Now, there have been some reports in L.A., Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, as I like to call it, where our good friend Bigfoot Dwarf dwells, that people are seeing some kind of lizard entities, and we're talking lizard men-like things, coming out of the sewers sometimes late at night. And they say that this is what is making some of the homeless people out that way disappear. I've had some reports on that. I'll tell the story right quick of a lady who was, her and her boyfriend were fixing to go out on the town. This was in Los Angeles. It happened about 2 years ago, I think. They were getting ready to, you know, have a night out on the town. They had a date night. And she said, well, she went up to get him his apartment or something. And she was, they were fixing to go out. So she said, I'll go, give me the key, honey. I'll go wait in the truck for you. And so he gives her the key and said, I'll be on in a minute or something. So she goes down and she's unlocking the truck and she hears something behind her. Now, she said this, her boyfriend lived in an apartment building, okay? And it was not right in the middle of town, but it was on the outskirts of town. I mean, you could see the skyscrapers and all from this. I mean, it was right in town, but not in the exact center of town. But anyway, it's in the city. And she's standing on the sidewalk and fixing to unlock, and he had an old truck, so she's fixing to unlock it. It's an old one, and it's not, you know, electric. So she's fixing to unlock the door on this side and get in. Well, she hears something behind her, some noise or something. So she turns around, you know, and looks, and there's a sewer grating, like maybe 10, 12 feet away from where she's at, a sewer grating in the sidewalk, like. And it slowly starts moving out of its place. You know, she's standing there watching, what the heck is going on? She said the first thing that came to her mind, maybe there was somebody, you know, it got down in the sewers and they were trying to get out or something. You know, she didn't know what was going on. I was scared her. She was standing there looking at it, you know. Now, it's not dark, but it's almost dark. You know, I like to call it the dark 30. That's the 30 minutes right before it gets dark. You know what I'm saying? The shadows get long. The lights get a little dimmer, you know what I'm saying? It's just that almost at twilight, you know. And so it was the dark 30, definitely. And so she's looking and said, what the heck is going on here? She's looking at it. Is it an animal or what? You know? And said all of a sudden as she's watching, the grate finally comes off and slides out. And says she sees a claw first off. And she's standing there in disbelief. She sees this lizard man-like thing coming up out of the sewer grating. And it comes up by halfway out, and it kind of looks around, and it sees spots her. Like, you're looking at me, one. It spots her. So she immediately, you know, scared her so bad. She said, she always did something. She said, I would almost, wet my pants. It scared me that bad. She said, I really, I like to wet myself almost. And said, she kind of took her back, and then she was just standing there with her mouth hanging open and the keys in her hand. Well, the key I think was in the truck, but then not returned. But she still had her hand on it. And she's looking at this thing, and it's starting to look back. And she said she saw a tongue come out, a forked tongue on it, like a lizard or a snake had. Said it done the tongue at her, and just looked at her and said it started slowly climbing out of that sewer. Well, she started screaming, high heavens. She said, it scared me so bad, I didn't even think about getting in the truck. I jumped in the bed of the truck and started hollering. She said, while she was jumping in the bed of the truck, of course, she had to turn her back on it. She said that while she jumped in the back of the truck and turned around to look over the cab of the truck, to see this grating. And she said she saw it come all the way out and disappear down the sidewalk and in some bushes back over that way. And she was screaming her head on. Her boyfriend comes out and said, what's going on, And, she said I was no good for the rest of that night. And she said I had my boyfriend take me home. I locked all my doors. It scared me so bad, Dr. Carl. I had nightmares for weeks after that, of that thing getting me. She said it was in his eyes. His eyes, I'll never forget the eyes. They were shining light, but she said they were horrible looking eyes. They were looking at her, She said they seemed to look deep into my soul almost, and they burned me like just looking at me. There's sort of a spiritual burn like thing. And she said it affected me. Said I had trouble going to work for weeks after that, and I'd had nightmares. She said my boyfriend didn't see it, but he knows how it affected me and what it did to me. And said that was exactly why, he believed what I told him, without a doubt. Although he didn't see it, he saw what it did to me. And she said he had to take me home. I was no good for the rest of the night. I was no good for a couple of weeks later out of that, really. But I had to go to work and all that stuff and go on. But she said, thank God he has moved from that apartment building. He was in the process of moving anyway before this happened, I think, was about to. So thank God he moved there. She said, I never, ever want to go back down on that street again. Monsters in the City, folks. There you go. Oh, let me flip my lid in there for a little bit. Whew, things are getting a little bit hot here. Getting a little bit warm. Probably got some terrible hat hair from that. But anyway. Don't worry, that's not a toupee. That's my real hair, okay? But anyway, is that freaky or what? And I get all kind of stories like that. People seeing Dogman, seeing Bigfoot in the city. What's going on here? I think these things are beginning to approach us more. I was talking about this the other day, and it's just one of my theories, okay? And I'm going to tell you about the new book I'm working on tonight. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. I've also got a show coming up tomorrow at 1 o'clock with Aquarius Rising Africa with Chantel on the part 2 of Who is the False Prophet. You don't want to miss that, folks. It's going to be a great show, by the way. Who really is the false prophet and what's he up to, okay? You don't teach shop class because the teacher surely has a toupee. Yeah, I forgot about that. Absolutely. But let me get my specs on here. And hold on, I have to put the thing back on for the Cryptid Hunters here, folks. She just showed up. Here you go, Cryptid Hunters. Yeah. I hear you've got one of these too, so we need to get together and have a secret society or something, okay? I've got my wolf helmet on. So there we go, okay? We need to get together and have a wolf pack society or something going on. Anyway, Woo, I tell you what, this thing is warm. I'm going to wear this in wintertime, folks. This is good. This is better than a stocking cap. It might get me shot, though. Somebody probably will shoot me. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with that. I might have to raffle that thing off one night. What do you think? You hear there's a Cryptid Illuminati? That's what we need. We need membership in that, Cryptid Hunters. Absolutely. We need a card on that. Yes, that was put that up again there. Yeah, that was the awesome show Monday night. Monday afternoon with Jessica. Go check it out. The Blimmies. Bunch of weird guys, those Blimmies. They're always trying to get what, Jessica? They're trying to get ahead, right? They're always trying to get ahead. Absolutely. Anyway, yeah, I'll have to wear. I'm gonna have to wear this next time there's a American Werewolf Association meeting. Okay, absolutely. Whew, I think it's hot. Anyway. But yeah, what's going on with this? I'll tell you what I was telling somebody the other day, okay? And I was talking to this about that. They stay ahead of the game. There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. They're always trying to get ahead. They're trying to stay ahead of their game. And if you watch the show and you answered all, the questions, all that, then you can go to the head of the class, right? There you go. Anyway, what's going on with all these things? Coming into the city now. They're seeking us out. And I think one of the reasons why they're seeking us out is that we're talking about them more. We're giving them more attention. And so I believe they're getting closer to us. They're showing up more in the cities for this reason too. I've talked to a lot of people about this over the years, and it is interesting how interest has increased in these things, and their sightings have also increased as well. Runaways are snatched by the cryptids. Absolutely, I believe without doubt. Some missing people are definitely go that route. That's part of one of the explanations for some of them. Not all of them, but absolutely. And it doesn't just happen in national parks. It's happening on the streets of our cities. It's happening in our neighborhoods. Okay. Let me tell you this. If you have a child, boy, girl, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but I would keep a more vigilant eye on them. Okay. I would really be very careful with children, and this includes your pets too, your cats and dogs. You need to start keeping some really freaky stuff is going on here, folks. And we need to be very, very careful. It's like I put on Facebook today, from this time going forward, I would warn you not to wander alone in the dark and even in daylight. Be careful of your soul. Because there's some weird, weird stuff going on in this world, folks. And it's getting worse. It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. The skinwalkers always stay far down. They're creeping in town. We got skinwalkers being reported in cities, yeah. Hello, Russell Brink. Good to have you aboard. Yeah, we've got them showing up in cities, folks. They're not just out in the desert. They're not just on reservations. They're showing up in neighborhoods and apartment buildings. Or one of the worst places of all. You know why I think? Because there's a lot of people in apartment buildings, but yet these people are segregated in different, areas of the building, so they're kind of cut off from each other. This is prime cryptid ground here, folks. Prime cryptid country. Wherever the influx of humanity is, you're going to find more cryptids, definitely. So they're not just out there all alone in the woods waiting for you to find them. They may find you on the sidewalks. You may see them in the bathrooms of restaurants. You may encounter them at baseball games. Let me tell you another story right quick, okay, that I heard. Somebody told me about a baseball game they went to. Okay, I'm not going to say exactly where and what was going on with it, but they were at a very large baseball game. And this guy, he had two of his grandkids with him, a boy and a girl. And they were like 10, 12 years old, something like that. So he said, you guys hang on. I'm going to run to the restroom, and he's going to come back to the seat. They were watching a ball game, okay? And he said, I'll be right back. He said, don't you leave. You wait on me. I'm coming right back. And they said, well, Grandpa, when you're on your way back, bring us some hot dogs or something, So he said, I'll do that, I'll do it. So he goes to the bathroom and do his stuff. And he goes, and he's kind of one of those guys. He said he was really kind of particular about doing his business out in front of everybody or out next to the urinal. So he kind of went in one of the, water closets there and shut the door. And he's doing his stuff in there, and said when he first walked in, there was a couple of guys, but he heard them leave. And then he heard the door. He said, I was standing there, finishing up. And he said, I heard the door open. And he said, oh, well, there's somebody else coming in there. And here's something I'm going to tell everybody, okay? I want you, what I'm about to tell you, you need to be very familiar with it, okay? Listen to what I'm saying. That is one of the most vulnerable spots you can ever, and this includes the men and the women, okay? One of the most vulnerable spots you will ever be in is in a bathroom doing your stuff, whatever you're doing. Listen close to me, ladies, gentlemen. Keep your eyes and your wits about you no matter where you're at. Bathrooms can be one of the first places. So this guy, he hears the door open. He said, I didn't think much about it, somebody coming in, But he said that when he went to open the door, he could see through the crack. And he said he saw something. He said, I do not know to this day, Mr. Carroll, what this thing was. He said, but he saw it through the crack, walk past the stall. And this is what he described to me. He said he had on some kind of black clothing. But he said the head, and by the way, Jessica, this thing had a head. It was not headless, okay? They said the head looked shrunken like and twisted. And he said he had never seen anything like it in his life. And he wondered what in God's name happened to this person, But he said the weird thing was the head was twitching like. It was twitching. And it was like phasing in and out. He said almost like he would see a staticky picture on a TV or something, And he said, what? And he had a kind of a weird buzzing noise to it going on. He said it scared me so bad that I was scared. I was afraid to come out of that stall. He said, I seen this thing walk back, across now, when I first saw it, it was going towards the urinals on the side. He might have been in a Walmart somewhere. I mean, he might have been not in a Walmart, but he might have been in a stadium somewhere. Probably that's what he was, in some kind of stadium. And, they are kind of designed differently, like a Walmart, by the way, I was going to say. A little bit like them. Anyway, he said this thing walked down toward the urinals, and then he seen me come back. He said, I was so scared, I didn't want to look at it again. He said, I kind of, went down next to the stall a little bit, and he said, I heard the door open. And then everything was real quiet. He said, I was still scared to come out. This is a grown man. He said he's been in the military, folks. He's been in Vietnam, okay? He said, I have never been this scared in my life, Mr. Carroll. Said, I was scared to come out of that stall. He said, when I heard that thing leave, I stayed there for a few minutes. Then I heard somebody else come in. I heard two men talking that come in. So that's when I left. Said, I was shaking. So I went back to the kids, the thing. They said, Grandpa, where's the hot dogs? He said, forget about the, hot dogs. We're going home. And I had to go home. So I just lost it for the rest of the day. I was it. I had to go home. And that's what happened to him. And that's what he encountered in the middle of the city, folks. The stadium and a ball game. You never know what you're going to run into. What do you think about that? Hello, Prince Arcane. I like your name. I have to have a group called the Academy. I happen to have a group called the Agency of the Arcane. You might want to look into join it. It's on Facebook. Agency of the Arcane. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about that? This the grandpa's been in now. The guy wouldn't be scared of anything, would he? Well, you would think so. But look what he ran into. It almost reduced him to tears and all. He said, I've never been this scared. He said, I have never, there have been very few times in my life I've ever been this scared. That's what he told me. Yes, men are vulnerable, just as much as women. Just, no. Anybody can be put in this situation. And now I'm getting more and more reports. And here's something else I hate, you know. We're going to go from the city to the suburbs a little bit here. Here's something else I'm going to talk a little bit about tonight. And because I am getting tons of reports on this. I'm getting people reporting to me about the weird neighbors that are moving into their neighborhoods. Things that strange crap that's going on in their neighborhoods. And I'm not just talking about raccoons and the garbage cans here, you know. Thank you, Your Honor Gong. It is the agency of the Arcane. If you decide you want to join it, we get on there. We're just more like a discussion group into that, but it's attached to some of my other groups that are investigative research groups. But that is agency of the Arcane. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's not, it's in the suburbs as well as just the cities that way too. Shape changers just victim to eat the person alive. That happens. That happens sometimes. Yeah. Now, this thing going on with the neighbors though is very concerning to me because let me tell you this, okay? And I've had this happen in a lot of cases, folks. I've been doing this for a long, long, long time now, well over half a century. And believe me, I've got thousands of cases to back me up on this, okay? And there's been many times that I've had people talk to people, counsel them. I have a consultation service. I have a paranormal consultation service. And I talk to people about their demonology problems and all that. You can always call me, contact me at DennisWCarl.com, okay? For anything. If you just want to tell a story, you want to get it off your chest, it always helps to tell somebody else. And believe me, I am the last person in the world that's going to call you crazy, okay? Believe me, I've had enough experiences. I don't do that. I will believe you, okay? Because I've had this kind of junk happen to me, okay? But anyway, get back to what I was saying. I have a lot of people call me and ask me to tell me things that are going on, weird paranormal stuff happening in their house. Let me tell you something, okay? And I warned you about this in the past. And I want to warn you again about it in the future. Be careful what you let into your life. People that you let into your life. Items that you bring into your life. Be very, very careful with this stuff. But sometimes you are just a sitting duck target. So what do you mean by that, Dennis? Sometimes you are just in the wrong place, my friend, at the wrong time. No matter what you do, ain't going to help you that way. You know what I'm saying? And here's the problem. You can be doing fine whistling with the bluebirds every morning until some flunky moves in next door to you or in your neighborhood practicing Satanism or vampire werewolf cults or whatever the situation they're in. You have some flunky like that move in next door or move in just the neighborhood. It don't have to be next door. And then you get the what? You get the spiritual fallout from that. Yes, you do. You get the spiritual fallout from that. Somebody living in the next apartment, if you're in an apartment building, you get the spiritual fallout from it, folks. Yeah. That's when things get really, really bad. Absolutely. You're living next door to it. You're going to get some of it, buddy. They're making like a big dark stain on this planet, on this world. And you will be part of it. You will not be untouched by it because they're right there next door. Right across the next fence, the boundary or whatever. You're going to get the fallout. Trust me, that happens. Oh, that has happened a lot of times. And that's one of the first things I ask people when I start interviewing, trying to find out what's going on with them. Have you had any new neighbors lately? Has anybody new moved in next door to you or in the apartment next to you or whatever your living situation is? That's one of the questions I ask because that, my friends, will tell you a story sometimes of what's really going on there. Let me tell you something. Even living in an apartment, you're just a few feet from that other apartment, my friends. Sometimes you're just on the other side of the wall. Okay? Do you think evil stops at walls? Do you? Do you think evil is going to stop at the doorway? Not unless you keep it from doing that. Majority of people that live around me where I do are family. That's good, Roger Bear. But you know what? That can happen. Some of the people in your family can be doing some stuff, you know? I had a very interesting case one time. Well, this lady wanted me to come and cleanse her house. She had all kind of weird stuff going on. Found out her husband had a trophy room full of not real Nazi memorabilia. And I found out that her daughter was living in the basement, was a witch. Sometimes it don't matter if it's family or not, my friend. Ah, good. I like to watch on TV. I watch YouTube on TV a lot there in love, by the way. Great. It's great. Much better than watching a little screen anytime. I always watch it on YouTube. Unfortunately, you can't comment on it, but you can do that if you got your phone with you while you're there. You can be on the phone too and then comment that way. But anyway, yeah, you can be a sitting duck sometimes in the wrong place at the wrong time, my friends. That's when you need help. Don't ever hesitate to reach out for help if you have these kind of problems. And sometimes they're sneaking on people's land. I had a good friend up in Virginia. They were doing some crazy crap on his land. He didn't know about it. I told him what he did, what he had to do to cleanse the land and to stop this stuff. There's counter stuff you can do. Let me tell you something. Don't ever forget this, my friends. No matter what evil does, it can be undone. Did you hear what I just said? No matter what evil does, I'm talking about its actions. I'm not talking about how to kill those people and all that stuff. I'm talking about its actions. No matter what evil actions are done, they can be undone if you know how to do it. Okay? You got to remember that. It's very important. So I'm not trying to scare you here tonight. I'm not trying to scare you and give you nightmares. That's not where I'm coming from here. All right? I'm trying to warn you and get you ready and get you in warrior mode here, okay? Because we're talking about virulent spiritual warfare here, my friends. Thank you, Girl Dog. That is my website. If you ever need advice, if you ever need to know something, I hope you're not an asshole. Now, an asshole is someone that asks for advice but never takes it, okay? No, don't do that. But if you need advice, I am there for you. Or if you need to talk it over and you need some help in any way, trust me, I'm there. You get in contact with me, okay? And let me know, seriously, what's going on. And I don't charge you anything for this stuff, okay? It's free. How many deals you get that good, huh? Think about it. I got all my years of experience and expertise behind this, okay? And you don't cost you nothing, okay, folks? So that's the best deal in town. All right. So you think about that though. If you need some help, you want some answers, and you got some answers that you're looking for, whatever the situation. Okay. Do that. We will pray in love, definitely. But yeah, that's an asshole. We got a lot of those. Absolutely. Got too many of them. But that's another story. But anyway, the whole thing is, if these things happen, you need somebody to turn to. But you got to be aware of what's going on in your neighborhood, okay? Be aware of your surroundings. Check your house from time to time. Make sure there's nothing in there that's not supposed to be there. Check your yard. Watch your animals close. Okay? I would advise you, if you're out walking your dog, even in your backyard, look that yard over good. Okay? Because there are a lot of evil people out there that can put poison in food and throw in your yard just to kill your dog or your cat, people. They'll do it. They're mean. They're just downright mean and evil. I've had many cases of that happening. So be very, very careful when you walk your dog or you're out or you put your cat out and all that, make sure there's nothing out there that's not supposed to be out there. Okay. So I had a woman threaten to kill my dog one time. She said, "That's a beautiful dog you got. It's a shame something happened to it." I said, "Well, you better by God hope nothing happens to it, because I'll come down your chimney first, woman." Yeah, some people will kill and eat the pets. Yeah, they will kill and eat your dogs and cats, friends, or sacrifice them. They're big. Hey, we talk about people disappearing to sacrifices. Animals disappear to sacrifices all time, folks. You ever remember that scene? You remember that scene? I know this is a movie, but you remember that scene in Salem's Lot when they were going in that big old spooky house, and on the wall was a cross upside down with somebody's dead dog hanging on it? Remember that? That's real stuff, folks. I've seen that with my own eyes. I walked into places with dogs and cats that have been done like that. They sacrifice them on upside down crosses. Yeah. Your pets just don't disappear for no reason, you know. They don't disappear for no reason. I had this crazy lady wanting to go after Gus because he ran up to her chihuahua. He wasn't being aggressive. I yelled at him. Oh yeah, I had that happen too one time, you know. Uh I was walking my dog and this other dog ran up to my dog, you know, and the woman got mad about it, you know. She was talking and she said, "You keep your dog away from my dog." I said, "Well, look, your dog invaded my dog's space." You know, I said, "It's a wonder he didn't bite him. He was lucky it didn't." You know, some people are crazy though. They're crazy that way. They never see the wrong that they or anything they own does. Okay, they never see the wrong that they only want the wrong is somebody else doing. You know what I mean? Many cultures do that. Yeah, yeah. They eat your dogs and cats in China, folks. Yes, they do. Next time you go to the Chinese restaurant, you need to ask yourself, and one important question: is that really chicken in the chicken chow mein? Yeah. Probably trying to get a lawsuit up there, girl or gone. That's probably, a lot of people do that. They do that trying to troublemakers, okay? But a lot of people live on the money they get from these fraudulent lawsuits and all that. And I think Trump was trying to get them to pass a thing where that if you would have to pay for their lawyer fees if you fraudulently, sued somebody. That's a great idea. That would put a stop to a lot of this crap that goes on. But no, they never do the right thing. That's the way it goes. I'll just move every time the world dog is said. He knows we're talking about. One needs to get to dial back because this being is. I can't believe animals suffering adds flavor to the meat. Yeah, I've heard that. Someone needs to dial back because they're being transparent. Someone might suspect you of something. But really, it's crazy. That's what kind of people you got. And look, I'm going to tell you, I know without a doubt. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. It's going to sound crazy, I know, but then I got to tell you about this, okay? Some of the monsters in the city are witches, dark witches, okay? All right, and I'm not talking about skinwalkers here, all right? But let me say this. Did you know that certain covens of witches have spell offs? You know what a spell off is? Well, they sit around and cast spells, evil spells. I mean, bad stuff on people, just for fun and giggles, folks. It's an exercise they do to exercise their power. Alex Crowley used to talk about that. He used to laugh and giggle because he said he could walk behind somebody and put a curse on them and make them trip. He thought that was the funniest thing in the world. These are your fellow human beings we're talking about here, folks. My dog, old Jack, is one of the best varmint guard dogs I've ever seen. He put himself in. I've seen dogs Police dogs are trained that way, Roger Blair, to put their cells between you and your prep perpetrator. It's possible for the amount of meat available. You never know. You don't know what you're eating. Hey, remember Soylent Green? Huh? Tuesday is Soylent Green Day, you know. Soylent Green, feeding the world one person at a time. But it don't matter to them how sweet and cuddly your dog is. It doesn't matter to them how much you love your sweet dog and your sweet dog loves you. It don't matter to these people. They hate you. Don't you understand that? They're jealousy of the love that you've got and the things you got. They want to spite you. They want to cast spells on you. They want to do bad and evil things to you. That's their very nature. Do you not understand? When they give themselves over to the darkness, this is the kind of monsters that they become. They are human monsters. I'll be talking a lot about them in my next book, Cryptid to hunt monsters and things of nightmare. Hunting monsters and things of nightmare, okay? You don't have to look far for some of them, folks. They may be living right next door. Heck, some of them may be in your own house. And trust me, monsters are monsters, no matter what form they appear in, okay? And who they might be. Be careful, you might vote for some of them. I'm sure we have in the past. I watched a good movie the other day. I would highly recommend it, although it was a very sad movie. But it's the name of it is Red. That's not the color red, and the reason it's called Red is that was the name of this man's dog. And these bunch of teen punks killed his dog right in front of him, and he went after him for that. You need to watch this movie. That's all I'm gonna tell you about it. Great movie. Really heartwarming movie, and kind of tragic too. But it shows you something that could really, and probably has happened many times in the past. Check out Red if you get a chance. It's on Prime TV, I think. Great movie. Great actor in it. I can't think of his name. I know his name. I can't think of it. He's a great actor. He was also the actor in the autopsy of Jane Doe. He's a great actor. He was also in uh, uh, Troy. He played the king in Troy, Menelaus. Uh, Check it out, Red. Kind of like John Wick. Yeah, kind of like John Wick, but sort of a John Wick with a country kind of flavor to it. You need to watch it though. It's great. But it was a very good story, and the background story that about the old man. It tells his story and why he was so attached to this dog and everything. You need to see this movie. Believe me, great movie. I highly recommend it. Red. It's on Prime. Hello, Woo Rider. So anyway, yeah, you got a lot of evil out there, folks. You got monsters in the city, okay? Heck, you don't need to go to the forest. They're out here. They're all around us, my friends. They're everywhere. They can be in the city park that you go to. They could be at the next ball game that you attend. They could be waiting for you at Walmart, especially on the parking lot. Whatever the situation is, there are monsters everywhere around us. Sometimes they disguise as humans, okay? Sometimes they are humans or used to be humans. Those are the kind of monsters you got to watch out for too, okay? And take it from an old monster hunter. I know my monsters, all right? I've studied them all my life. I know them well. I know them better than I know myself. And I know what they're capable of. I know what they can do. And the things I know, if you knew what I knew, you'd probably never sleep good again. I don't. Okay? And I know what's out there. I know without a doubt what's out there. Maybe it's even best that you don't know what some things are out there. It's probably best you don't know. Okay. Somebody said the other day, you haven't seen the things I've seen. And some things I would like to unsee, but I can't. And that's the way it goes when you talk about these kind of dark subjects, my friend. But just remember what I said earlier. Whatever evil does most of the time, you can undo it or you can fight it. You can fight back against it. Okay? Don't ever forget that. It's very important that we always never lose sight of that. Okay? Because it's the goodness in us. The goodness and the mercy and love that's in us that will fight back against these monsters. That will fight back against the darkness that seeks to overwhelm us. That's what we got to hold on to. Okay, we've got to be children of light, warriors of light. We must wear that armor of light to deflect against the monsters. The knights of old would ride against dragons. Well, we're still fighting dragons, my friend. They're still out there, more now than ever before, and we need to be ready for them. And we need to don our armor and ride against these monsters when they show themselves. That's what we're here for, to fight back against the darkness. Because we are people, should be people of light and not of darkness. Remember, don't ever forget, the light shines in the darkness, but the darkness comprehends it not. But the light still shines. The light still shines. Sometimes ignorance is a blessing. Yes, it is. Oh yeah, I used to love to listen to Art Bell. I like to be on Coast to Coast sometime. That would be neat. Do dragons shapeshift? Yes, sir, they do. Supposedly, they have evil dragons. Supposedly, you got good and bad dragons. Okay, just like anything else in this world, you got good and bad dragons. Bad and evil dragons supposedly can shapeshift. They can look like they can look like women. They can look like children. Supposedly, they can look like a horse. That's what a kelpie is, by the way. In certain ways, a kelpie is an cryptid that can look like a horse, but it's fooling you into believing that. And once you get on its back, it will ride you off into the sea or the lake and drown you. That's a kelpie. Um, they're very well known in Scotland for doing this kind of thing. Yes, they can shapeshift. A lot of things can shapeshift. That's what makes them so downright dangerous. You never know what you're truly facing there, my friend. Yeah, I would love to do that. I'd love to go on coast to coast on that. And I believe I would blow their minds. I believe I would give them an interesting show. And if you want to try and get smart, well, yeah, you don't want to, anybody else with anybody like Smog. Remember him, Smog? Yeah, he was all about gold and treasure. Dragons are supposed to be very jealous of their gold and treasures and stuff like that. That's my good friend BMR. Hello, sir. Thank you for that $20 sticker. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate that. Absolutely. I'm beginning now to try to get my quota going for June, and that will be a great start. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, bud. Uh, my brother BMR is in the house here, friends. Welcome aboard the train tonight. Absolutely appreciate that. But yeah, the monsters are getting closer to home now, aren't they? And that's when we got to be very careful. We got to understand that we're dealing with, dark forces sometimes, whether they be dragons, whether they be witches, or whatever the situation is. Whatever, monster you may encounter, you need to be ready for it. And the best way to be ready for it is to be on guard against it. Be on guard against it and know the things you need to do to try to become a member. Not the girl, you did. Well, if it didn't work out, let me know what happened on that, Jason. Oh, your phone won't accept it, huh? Hmm. It's probably because you're set on mobile. If you could get on a regular computer, it will show up on a regular computer, but sometimes that membership button will not show up on the mobile. But now, if on your mobile you can go to a desktop view, it should show up on a desktop view, even on the mobile. Okay, you want to check that out. That's probably what's going on with him. But anyway, if you could go to the or get on somebody's regular computer, it will show up there. The button doesn't show up on mobile, I don't think. That's the problem. The subscribe button doesn't. The membership subscribe button. Yeah, you need to get on a tablet or PC. I think would be probably the best idea on that. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of darkness out there, my friends. But like I said, we're on guard against it. That's the main thing. You got a leg up in the saddle, you're ready to ride. Now I'm presently working on my book, Cryptidology, Hunting Monsters and Things of Nightmare. And I'm hoping to get it. It will be done very soon. But I keep adding more to it. It's going to be like War and Peace when I get done with it. Now, hopefully, it won't be that big. But anyway, I'm still working on it. I'm not ready to let the baby go yet. But I'm also beginning preliminary work on another book, and the name of it is The Handbook of Paranormal Engagement. All about everything that's paranormal and supernatural. You're going to like this one, because this is when I go into talking about some of the things you do to protect yourself and some of the things that evil is up to and the things that they do against you. So you might want to be watching for this one, The Handbook of Paranormal Engagement. All right. So that's another one I will be working on in the future. Girl, sorry about that. Oh, no problem, Jason. No problem at all. Hope you get a chance to join. Hello, Cleveland. Philip Cleveland. Give us a $10 sticker there. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that tonight. Thank you very much, sir. Absolutely. Thank you. This comment thing on, I don't know why it does that there we go. On StreamYard, I don't know, it scrunches down sometimes. I don't know why it does that. It does some weird stuff. They need to really fix that. I don't know, it's cutting down on all my comments there. It makes it harder for me to read them. They're going by, and you only got a little place on there. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with that. But anyway. My membership where? Oh, good, Jason. Good to have you aboard. Be watching for some videos I got coming out now. I got some interesting videos coming out very soon this weekend. Okay, so be watching for it. Since you're a new member, you will enjoy it. One of the crazy neighbors is outside shooting at gators. Lord have mercy. Oh, yeah, that's another thing I was going to warn some of you about, too. I'm glad you brought that up. Be very careful about letting your dogs go in. If you have, large dogs, be very careful about letting those dogs go in the ponds and stuff, because a lot of these ponds now are going to have gators in them, okay? Gators, the alligator population is increasing vastly. You may find them anywhere. And here's the sneaky thing about gators. They're good at hiding in the water. You won't know they're there. But they love dog meat, okay, folks? They love to eat dog meat. And cats, too. They consider cats appetizers, by the way. So like an hors d'oeuvre. They love dog meat, though. They really do. So be very, very careful when you're out walking your dog, even if you don't go in a pond or anything, even if you're just around a pond, okay? Be very careful because I'm going to tell you something about an alligator. A lot of people don't realize this. Alligator can come out of the water incredibly fast on you, buddy, and grab whatever you got. I've seen them grab dogs on a leash like that, and boom, they're gone with them. That's the end of your dog, okay? So be very, very aware of your surroundings. Because, I'm going to tell you something about alligator. He's a little bit of a monster himself, folks, okay? Because they can be mean. They can be very vicious things. So they fall into the monster category, definitely. So don't take that for granted. Don't take them near the ponds or the streams. And now I'm going to tell you something about gators. They do not like running water as much as ponds and creeks and stuff like that, or as we say in the South, a creek. They like those better. Alligators can climb fences. Oh yes, sir. They're more agile than people believe them to be. Absolutely, and fast, incredibly fast. Thank you, girl, and her gone. That's 1999 sticker. Thank you so very much, dear. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Thank you, all of you guys tonight. You're helping me get that June quota up there. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Because I do have a lot of expenses, and that's what all this is going to. It's going straight to my expenses, okay? And I appreciate it. I really do. It's a big help. You're the guys that are keeping this going, man, and thank God for you, okay? Because you are a big help, all of you, definitely. And I appreciate that very much. Absolutely. I look everywhere before I go out. Yeah, well, just be aware, But like I said earlier, from this time on, going forward, it might be a good idea not to wander alone at night, and even in broad daylight. Be careful of your soul. Be very careful out there, folks, because this is a much more dangerous world than it's ever been before. And like I say, there again, I'm not trying to make you live in fear. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to limit your life in any way. I'm just trying to warn you and get you in the mind frame to understand this. It will help you out a lot. I'm going to tell you what they taught me many years ago. They said, I can teach you to be the best policeman in the world. Let me tell you, did you hear what I just said? They said, I can teach. I had teachers stand up and tell me this to my face. I can teach you to be the best policeman in the world. But unless you apply your mind to it, you never will be. Did you hear what I just said? And that's why it's so very important that you apply your mind to these things. Okay? That's why I'm telling you this stuff. I'm not on here just blowing wind here, folks, okay? I'm not on here just shooting the cut here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. I'm on here trying to warn you, trying to help you have a better life, hopefully. Listen to the things I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, I remember the movie Alligator. Yeah, he was a giant alligator. Remember that? Well, thank you there, Russell. Thank you for that sticker, my friend. Appreciate that so much. Thank you. Absolutely. But yeah, that's not what it's about. I'm not on here trying to tell you spooky stories and spook you out and give you nightmares. No, that's not what this is all about. This is teaching you things, trying to get you to understand things, to get you in the right frame of mind and apply it the right way. I can teach you to be the best investigative researcher in the world. But unless you apply your mind to it, you never will be. Apply your mind. That's the main thing. A renewing of the mind is what it takes. And it's the mind frame that you got to have. Absolutely. But that's what we're talking about tonight with the monsters in the city. Absolutely. The monsters in the city. Where will you encounter them next? Huh? You never know. Also, one more thing I want to talk about tonight. The cross, the seals of the seven star archangel's star, they're going fast, folks. Okay. And I'm just going to tell you this. I probably won't mention them anymore tonight, after tonight. If you haven't got one, don't delay anymore. If you're thinking about doing it, okay? Because I'm not going to be offering them anymore after tonight, okay? This is the last time I'm talking about it because I'm running out of them. And when they're gone, okay? So if you haven't got one, if you've been thinking about it, if you've been on the fence, that's up to you. I mean, I'm not trying to push anything on you. I'm just warning you that we've come down to this point, okay? So I just want to let everybody know that there probably won't be offered anymore after tonight, okay? But if you decide you want one, now's the time. Get in contact with me at DennisWCarroll.com or DennisWCarroll@gmail.com, okay? That's how you can get in contact with me, or you can also, if we're friends on Facebook, you can also, send me a PM, private message, okay? However you want to do it, if you want to do that, okay? And I'm not pushing. You know me, I'm not a pushy guy. I don't get on here and push stuff like that. I'm just warning you. We're coming down to the end on it, okay? All right. And also, don't forget tomorrow at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Aquarius Rising Africa, we will be doing Who is the False Prophet? You don't want to miss this one. This part 2. I did part 1 the other day. We're going to be doing part 2 tomorrow. So it's going to be a great show, hopefully. In North Point, Florida, that gators at almost every bus stop, literally walk down. That's what I say. We got a bumper crop on them, folks. They can be anywhere. And I'm from Florida to Chicago. You never know. And here's another thing that's going on in the big cities that they attributes to the monsters of the big city. The monsters of the city can be gators that people flush down into the sewers or turn loose in the ponds and stuff and all that. They can be anacondas out there, folks. There can be, the list goes on and on. Do not take anything for granted anymore, okay? Tiger Eye, thank you for that sticker there, Tiger Eye. Thank you very much. $10 sticker. That's very, very thoughtful of you. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that greatly. Absolutely. But don't take anything for granted anymore, okay? Because it doesn't, they can be out there anywhere, all right? And who knows what. Like right now, we have got a problem. Listen to this. We've got these lizards. I can't think of the name of them. They're not iguanas. They are loose here in the state of South Carolina when I live in. I mean, these suckers are big. They can grow up to 3 feet long. Big old lizard that can attack dogs, small dogs, cats too. We've got these things running loose. We've got anacondas that have been found out there, boa constrictors. We got coyotes. We got oh god, we got all kinds of stuff going on around here. And guess what's coming back? Jaguars. Jaguars are coming back. So the list goes on and on, folks. Don't ever forget. Take it from an old monster hunter. There are different kinds of monsters in this world. Some of them are natural monsters, like alligators, jaguars, mountain lions. They can be natural monsters, but then there can be unnatural monsters. Okay, there's some other things out there like Bigfoot and like dogman, werewolves, vampires. The list goes on and on. These are the unnatural monsters. They can be just as bad. Either one of them can be just as bad. Okay, and that's what you got to watch out for. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes on your six and keep your head on the swivel, my friends. Okay. Because I want to see you back here again Friday, all right? Friday night, paranormal point of view, okay? Let's check it out, all right? And also tonight, I was going to ask prayers from all of you, if you don't mind, if you put old Dennis on your prayer list. Week after next, I've got to, unfortunately, head for the cancer clinic, and they suspect that I may have leukemia. So they're going to check on that, and hopefully that's not what the problem is. My hemoglobin is way down. It's dangerous, down to dangerous points. They got to try to figure out exactly what is going on with my body. So if you would mind, keep me in prayer, if you don't mind, and keep me in your prayers, and I would appreciate that very, very much because I believe in prayer. I believe in prayer that prayer works. Okay, but of all the other things I got going on, I definitely do not need leukemia to be one of them. Absolutely. So I would thank you very much if you will keep me definitely in your prayers and keep good thoughts heading my way. Thank you so much for that. But I want to appreciate you all tonight and for your very thoughtful donations. Um, and I appreciate all that you do to help keep the hunting the shadows going. I want to thank my mods, my moderators. You are the best. This is one of the best, one of the top chat rooms out there. Okay, we have the best chat family going on there. So that's the fantastic part. It always makes me feel good when I come on here knowing that so many of you have my back. Absolutely. And I really do appreciate that more than I could ever tell you. Okay, absolutely. And I appreciate that as well. So thank you so much. And we're sending also good vibes to my good friend Gerald Fountain, who's been under the weather here lately. Hope you get the feeling better there, Gerald. And take care of yourself, my friend. And we will definitely put you on the prayer list as well. And all the rest of you, definitely if any of you, are having any problems or whatever the situation, we will definitely put you on the prayer list as well. But I want to thank every one of you tonight for being here and for being so supportive of Hunting the Shadow. That means a lot. And God willing, and the creeks don't rise, I will see you back here again Friday night. We'll talk some more about the movie Red. I hope you get to watch it before then. We've got some other movies we're going to talk about and some other things and some stories to tell. I've got a couple of stories to tell, some of my case histories. We'll get into those as well. But I appreciate you all for being here tonight. Thank you so very much. And who knows, I may have to rifle this thing off one day. I may have to. It helps me when I need to turn into a werewolf sometimes, though, and then it comes in handy. But anyway, I appreciate you all for being here tonight and putting up with me. And thank you so much. I appreciate you very, very much. Until we get back together again, my friends, remember, walk in the light and keep the darkness at your back. Always look for the good things in life and always cherish the things that mean the most to you, okay? And take care of yourselves and hope you have a fantastic rest of the week until we get back together again. Godspeed. And arrivederci. The hunt has begun. Hunting the shadows.